Hello everyone, this is FaZe from se2collective.com and welcome to the first video in this series where I'm going to be taking the top most popular builds and playing them on the ladder and seeing what happens in the games that I win, what did I do right, and the games that I lose especially, what happened, why did the build fail, or why did I fail as a player, and hopefully you can learn something from watching these videos. I'm currently ranked 58 in my Platinum League, and in this video I'm going to be playing Protoss and doing the 2-gate Robo build, which is one of the best builds to use when you're kind of just getting started and learning how to keep your minerals low, not getting supply capped, and just generally how to follow a build and hit your timings. I've already made a previous video on how to execute the build, so you can click here on the screen to watch that video. But let's go ahead and watch the games that I played with the build. I'm going to be playing 5 games and showing you highlights of what happened in each of the games and the major reasons why I won or lost the game. In the first game, I'm going to be facing a Zerg, and at this point of the game, about 6.5 minutes in, I'm building my expansion, and I brought all my units down. However, I let the Zerglings get by me, and I did have a choke point up there. They were able to get into my mineral lines, and fortunately, they're only able to kill 2 of my probes, which is not that big of a loss, considering that I did kill all of his Zerglings. However, next time, I need to make sure I keep a Zealot in the choke point, or keep my sentry a little bit closer to the ramp so that I can put my force field there. The beauty of this build is that you get an observer very fast, so you can see what the enemy is doing. He's building a lot of static defense, which tells me the expansion that I have is going to be safe right now. And also, I see that he's building a Spire, so that will give me a great reaction where I can either go into Blink Stalkers or I can choose to make some Phoenixes. In this game though, I do choose to go for Blink Stalker. I throw down a Forge so that I can build some cannons at the back of my mineral line and also build cannons at my expansion's mineral line, and this will shut down any Mutalisk harass. Now let me point out mistake number 1 that I made in this game. I should have looked at his Mutalisk count because he's messing up a whole bunch of Mutalisks. My Stalker count is not even close to being enough to fend off this attack. So as you see, I get pretty much cleaned up here, and that's pretty much GG. However, I'm not going to give up. And another mistake I have is, look at my minerals. I'm up to 1,100 minerals. I could have had a whole bunch more Stalkers, but I don't. He has 24 Mutalisks right now, opposed to my 9 Stalkers. And he does the smart thing, comes right away to attack me, knowing that he cleaned up most of my army units already. Lessons to learn here. Even though I did get Blink, that's not really enough to deal with like 20 or more Mutalisks. So next time I'm going to face a Zerg that goes mass muta, I'm going to try to add in some Phoenixes. Also, can't let my mineral count get above 1,000, or if I get attacked, I'm not going to have the army units to deal with it. On to the next game. In this game, it's going to be Protoss versus Protoss, and this is me scouting out his base, and I noticed he used 2 Chrono Boosts on his Cybernetics core, meaning most likely he's going to go for 4-gate Warp Rush. So I have my Sentry out already, which is good. In this build, the Sentry is awesome for stopping things like Baneling Bust or a 4-gate. I used my Sentry first to go around my base, making sure he didn't sneak in with a probe to get a proxy pylon somewhere. I'm going to go a little bit forward here with my units and check for a proxy pylon. Now I do get caught up with this Stalker, and I shouldn't extend myself too much. I don't want to get caught out here against his big army. And I wanted to try to deny that proxy pylon there, but knowing this, I came back trying to get to my ramp, and I did something really stupid here where I did engage with him, and he did the smart thing, killed my Sentry. Now I have no way of blocking my ramp. But I wasn't worried because he doesn't really have that many units yet, and maybe I could snipe off his pylon, but oh damn, that's a lot of Stalkers. Don't have a Sentry out, don't have my Immortal out yet. If he gets on my ramp, which he just did, that's pretty much going to be GG right there. Main lesson learned from this game: keep my Sentry above the ramp, especially at that starting point, that starting critical point where he has way more units than me. Well, we're off to a great start. That's 2 losses in a row. Hopefully we can turn things around in this game. I'm facing a Terran, and I don't know why he's trying to deny my expo by building a supply depot, but I guess he might have seen it in some kind of high-level game or something. Anyways, I'm building my expansion right at the same time that my observer's coming out, which is a great thing about this build because you can send out your observer, see what kind of army composition your opponent has, and if it looks like they're going to be rushing you very shortly, then you cancel your expansion and then try to crank out as many units as possible to defend. I'm over here right now checking out his base to see what he's building, and it looks like, yeah, he's got a lot of Marines out, but he has 3 barracks and 2 of them have tech labs on them. So I'm assuming that most of his army composition is going to be mostly Marauders, and he's going for a bio build. With that information, I decide I'm going to get out about 2 Immortals and then go for a push and see how well that does. I go forward with my attack, and one thing I need to get better at is I need to be able to gauge right away how big is his army and am I going to win this before kind of committing. I get off some really good force fields there to prevent the to prevent the SCVs from repairing the bunker. I may try use my Immortal to focus down the Marauders, and I cleaned up his army, and that actually wasn't too hard. So I ended up winning that game. Now here's the next game I played against Zerg. So we're 2 for 1 right now. Luckily, I do have my sentries out, and the sentries here are what going to save me. I can block those off, still hit the roaches from behind the cybernetics core because they have longer range. Stalkers counter roaches, and he's going to retreat. Now that I know that he's going for a very heavy roach build, I have my robotics bay, luckily, and I can pump out some Immortals and then go for a counterattack. And you can notice here that he only has 17 drones right now because I think he went for the 7 roach rush build, meaning his economy is way behind. I'm going to chase him down here because Immortals just clean up roaches. But when you know that you're ahead very far economically, then it's usually better to cut your losses, retreat, and then wait until you have the army advantage and then push forward. And I'm pretty sure I know that I have the economy advantage here, given how much roaches he came and how early they came. So I felt confident now because I had 2 Immortals and how many roaches he'd have to have in order to beat my army. So that matchup was very one-sided. So the main lesson learned in this game was sentries can save your ass, especially if you use them properly. I was able to beat the Zerg in this game, and at this point here, I knew that I had my expo up, his expo's down, he's probably behind in the drone count, so I can just retreat, build up some more army, and then attack him later. I come in for my final push and end up winning the game there. Here's the final game we're going to take a look at. It's another Protoss versus Protoss. As you can see, I'm ahead on the minerals. And one thing I know I got to keep in mind is, okay, keep my sentries above the ramp. I'm not going to lose to another 4-gate like I did last time. But I scouted him out a little bit earlier and I found that he was going pretty much the exact same build as me. So it's going to come down to who's got the stronger economy and who's going to win in these battles here. So I noticed that he's coming up my ramp, so I tried to back up so I could block off his units, but he did an awesome force field against me. Stuck all my units at the back here. I should have pulled my other units behind, but I lost about 3 units there. And he just owned me. I was able to block off his units from coming up the ramp. but I've already taken so much losses at this point. You can see my mineral count is up to 1500, so I have to get better at multitasking, spending some spending some minerals on army units while I'm trying to micro in my battles. Now the end comes a little bit closer, and I lost that game because of how he was able to pin my units against the wall with his force fields. The lesson learned is to not don't keep your units in a very vulnerable position like that, especially when you know the enemy has sentries. I tried to build a whole bunch more units here and fend them off, but you can see with his army composition, I have mostly stalkers and immortals, and he has tons of zealots, which immortals aren't good against. That was our final game. Unfortunately, I ended the night with more losses than wins, but I did go from 58th in platinum all the way to 46 in platinum. So I did make an improvement on the ladder. If you enjoyed the video, or if you have any feedback to give me, I'd love to hear it in the comments. I'm hoping to make this a regular series where I'm going to be taking all the popular builds with each race, playing them out like this, and hopefully getting up to high diamond, maybe Masters League, and seeing which builds work in those higher leagues. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.